Now, you're inviting people to have a look at the information. You're going to show them the opportunity through either the video or doing a one-to-one. And some of those people will then go on to the business presentation stage. So breakfast, lunch, supper, which is a contact, show, and business presentation. You'll want to be tracking your contacts that you're taking around the sponsoring cycle. And to help us do that, we use the activity tracker. And this activity tracker is in your First Steps to Manager, and you can print copies, and you will need to print copies because for me, and this is something, you know, we are very, very passionate about, you have to keep a tracker. When you start speaking to 15, 20, 30 people a week about the opportunity, you've got to be organized in your system so that you don't forget to follow up with people, and also so that you begin to understand what your recruiting ratios are. You see, if you do something often enough, a pattern begins to appear. So for example, when I first started using an activity tracker very early on in my business, a pattern that appeared was for every 19 people I contacted and invited to have a look at the opportunity, one joined. Now some of you are thinking, wow, 1 in 19, that's a lot of people. Well, I don't know. It's made me a very, very wealthy person, 1 in 19. I have people in my team who have to speak to 30 or 40 people before they recruit one. They don't mind, they don't lose sleep over it because they know what their ratios are, and they know that they're going to get better and better and better. And as I got better and better, my ratios are about 1 in 13. Yep. For every 13 people I invite to have a look at the opportunity, I will recruit one. Now we say with warm market, you're speaking for every 15 or 20 people you invite to have a look at the opportunity, you will recruit one. Some of you will have to speak to a few more. Some of you will have to speak to a few less. We all start at a different place on the spectrum. We all have different confidence levels. So those things are variables. Well, one thing is absolutely guaranteed. Once you start tracking your activity, the more you do, the better you're going to get, and your recruiting ratios will get better and better and better. Listen, there are some people in forever, their recruiting ratios are 1 in 7. I don't like those people because I have to do nearly twice the work to recruit one, but it doesn't matter. I'm not any less successful. I just know then what I need to do to move my business forward. So an activity tracker is in essence a spreadsheet of the sponsoring cycle. You can see here that it's the person you're speaking to. Now, warm or cold means is it warm market or cold market? Warm market is your contact list, their phone number, the date you've spoken to them, and then the show. So did they book a one-to-one, or did they take the video to have a look at? Then the next stage is, did they move on to the business presentation? So did you meet them for a coffee to do a one-to-one business presentation? Have they gone to a home BP? Have they gone to a company event? And then have they joined? So it allows us to track how many contacts you've had, how many shows, how many at a BP, how many joined. Now this activity tracker is essential in helping you to develop your communication skills, because if you, it's not just for yourself, but when you're working with new FBOs, and I track my new FBOs contacts myself because I know it's a tool to help me coach them get better at taking people around the cycle. So for example, if they've spoken to 12 people and not a single person has taken information, guess what? We need to work on that first phone call, don't we? If 12 people are spoken with, 12 people take information, but nobody then moves to the business presentation stage, we need to work on what's being said at the one-to-one or at the follow-up after video or a follow-up after the one-to-one. Or you might have 12 people at the business presentation and no one joins. So we need to look at what's being said at the end of the business presentation. It just helps us to really sharpen our skills and present the forever opportunity in the best possible light. Sometimes people say to me, is it, do you really need to write down your activity tracker? Can't you just know, I know in my head who I've spoken to. It's essential. In fact, we go so far as to say, if you don't keep a tracker, there's no point in having a planning meeting with me, because otherwise we're talking all in theory. There's no facts and figures to have a look at. Your tracker is your essential tool in moving your business forward and in growing your team. It's just as important as your who do you know list. The two go hand in hand. Now with the tracker, I want to talk a little bit about numbers, because sometimes more when we are new, less when we're more experienced. If we share statistics with you, and if we just said as an example, for every 15 people you speak to, one will join. I know what it's like to be new and to be scared of making contact and sharing the opportunity. You can have your first 7-day plan, and you can have written all your profiles and practiced your calls and practiced answering questions on the cat and the teddy bear, and you spent the week now really pulling out all the stops and spoken to 15 or 20 people, but no one's joined. And it can feel a little bit discouraging, can't it? And you have a little chat with your sponsor or your upline manager, and they talk you through, again, the power of ratios, and that the more you do, the better you're going to get. And they pat you on the head and rub you on the back and say, off you go, go and do week 2, 7-day plan, another 20 or 30 calls. And you do that, and maybe you're now not doing the ironing, and you've not done the groceries for that week because you're making time now to work your business, which means you're having to stop doing some other things. At the end of week 2, you've made another 20, 30 calls, and no one's joined. And where's your confidence level and your belief? It starts to decline, doesn't it? I know, because I've been there. You know, we call something the power of 100. We say for every 100 people you speak with, you will recruit 5 business builders. For every 100 people you invite by following this system, listen, if you send 100 text messages or 100 WhatsApp messages or Facebook messages, and you never actually have a conversation with anybody, that ain't 100 contacts. Let's just be clear about that, okay? When we say 100 contacts, we say 100 conversations. That's sending a text message, taking it offline, having a call, or having a face-to-face conversation. But we know generally for 100 conversations, you'll recruit 5 business builders. Now here's the thing. 30 conversations isn't 100. 60 conversations isn't 100. 100 is 100. And I'm going to show you my tracker. I'm at my desk. This is my current tracker. I keep a tracker a year, and I follow it just like you see here. It's no different. It allows me to track who's going around the cycle. Once they say no, I just cross them off. Once they join, I highlight them. That's an example. So this person joined, and I've highlighted them. But you can see how many people I speak to, what stage they get to, how many go on to the BP, and then how many go on to join. Now, it's easy to keep belief and stay motivated when the numbers are pro rata. When you speak to 15, you recruit 1, speak to 15, recruit 1, speak to 15, recruit 1, or whatever your ratios are. But numbers start to play a little bit of a game with your emotions if it's not quite pro rata. Let me show you. This is my tracker from 2010, and I keep this in my planning book just because it's an old one, and I've finished with it, and I can carry it around with me. It doesn't need to live with my profiling book. So this is an old printout. On this print, it's exactly the same tracker, it's just the old version, old design, and we had 14 lines on a sheet on this one, okay? And I did share with you that my ratios are about 1 in 13, which means I recruit about 1 a page. Pretty straightforward. And when I recruit them, I highlight them. So you can see I didn't recruit anybody on that page, but guess what? I recruited 2 people on that page, so that made up for the 1 I didn't recruit there because I recruited there. And you can see for the most part, it's pretty balanced, okay? There's 1 on that page. There's 1 on that page. It's pretty, you know, it keeps me motivated because I know if I fill in the page, I'm going to recruit someone. There's 2 people on that page. There's probably going to be a page or 2 where I haven't recruited, and they're going to come up. Oh, that was a good week. There's 3 on that one. But here we go. Here's the pages where no one recruited. That's okay because it made up for the other ones. And here we go. Yep, that's fine. 2 on that one. But now, what can happen sometimes is your tracker can look like this. And I've got my calculator here to help me with my numbers. So that week I spoke to 14 people. That's okay. No one's joined. That's all right. I'm not bothered because I know it's generally about 1 a page. That's 2 weeks. 2 weeks is 2 times 14 is 28 no's. Some of you on this call who are new, after 2 weeks of activity and 28 no's, will feel doubt creeping in, and you'll start thinking of maybe this business isn't for me. Maybe I don't know the right people. Maybe those people know different people than I know. But your sponsor reminds you why you joined this business. They've reconnected you to your goals and what you're willing to work for, and you dig deep and you find the courage and you do another week's activity. And so another week, another 14 no's, you've now got 42 straight no's. And now your sponsor rings you to find out how you're getting on, and you see their number come up on the phone and you don't answer it straight away. And your sponsor rings you to find out if you've booked your ticket to the next success day, and guess what? You say, well, I'm not sure I can go to the success day because the business isn't working for me anyway. So here we go, 4 times 14, 56 no's in a row. Now some of you are thinking, well, maybe I should just go and get a part-time job at the supermarket. It might be a little bit easier than contacting all these people, because they said it would be 1 in 15, and I've now spoken to 56 and still no one's joined. Maybe they're working a different marketing plan. And now you've got 5 times 15, 14. That's 70 straight no's. Where's your belief in yourself, in the opportunity, in the possibilities that this will work for you? I know where it is. It's just really nosedived, hasn't it? But you know, the numbers will never, ever, ever lie. Oh my goodness, 6 times 14, that's 84 straight no's. A lot of you now have quit, or you've said to your sponsor, I'm just going to retail for a little while. I'm just going to get to know the products for a little bit longer, and then maybe I'll revisit. The moment you hear yourself saying, I'm just going to retail for a little while, stop it. Stop, 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 stop. I'm going to shake you, shake you, shake you. So you just have to go the distance. Write this down. You have to go the distance. The numbers will never lie. Look at that. I did 96 no's, and then look what happens. 1, look, whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all in 10 days. The numbers won't lie. If you speak to 100 people and no one joins, you know what I say in my team? And I have a huge team. If you speak to 100 people, if you can bring me an activity tracker that's got 100 names on there that you've taken people around the cycle and no one's joined, I will do your planning meeting and I'm going to uncover what's going wrong. That's only ever happened once in my team, where a young lady named Charlotte, she brought me her tracker, so she spoke to her upline manager booked a meeting with me, and we went, I said, you got to bring your tracker, and she said, okay. So she brought her tracker, and I could see there were 100 names listed, but there were only 3 people had taken the video to have a look at. I said, okay, Charlotte, there's clearly something's not quite right with your first call. Let's have a look at your profiles. And she said, what do you mean? I said, let's have a look at your profiles. Did you bring your profiles with you? She said, yeah. I said, oh, come on then, let's have a look. So she said, well, I might have one here, so I want to see what you've written down. She said, oh, okay. Do you know what she did? She found a little bit of a sticky note, and she said, here, that's my profile. I said, no, I want to see your profile sheet. She said, yeah, that's it. I said, that's not a profile, that's a sticky note. She didn't follow the system. There was a massive gap in following the cycle. She didn't write any profile. She had sticky notes all over the place. So it's not a surprise. If you don't follow and use the tool as they're intended, you're not going to get the results that we know are possible for you. But we could only discover that through by going through her tracker. So we say your tracker is about helping you to become the best communicator you can. It will help you monitor your own activity, and behavior that gets monitored gets improved, but it's about going the distance. I never panic if I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. with all no's, 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 because I know they're all going to come. And it's just happened again right now. The last person I recruited was beginning of July, so about July 4th or July 5th. I kept doing my contacts, I kept working my 7-day plan, and I didn't recruit anybody again till the end of August. But I can tell you in the last 3 weeks, I've recruited 8 people. You're saying, well, it's all right for you. No, I'm the same as you. I had those many weeks where I was seedbed building. I was planting seeds, planting seeds, planting seeds, planting seeds, and then all of a sudden, the numbers won't lie. The people who are right to join your business will join. But you've got to go the distance. If you don't go the distance, you'll give up before you've done enough effort to hit the tipping point where you get the results. So that takes you through the activity tracker. Oh, I just have to move my camera. If you think about what is the right amount of activity to help you build momentum in your business, is something Jane really emphasizes and talks a lot about and has, I'll say, drilled into her leaders' heads. We're leaders because Jane has taught us about momentum. There needs to be enough activity underway so that your business is in motion. A business which is standing still doesn't grow. And to have your business in motion, in momentum, if you are working this business part-time, then you need to be adding about you need to be having about 20 active people going around the cycle at any given time. Now, if you spoke to someone 6 months ago and you sent them a video and you still haven't got hold of them, that's not actively going around the cycle, okay? You have to take it as no, they're not interested, move on to the next person. If you are working this business full-time, you need to have at least 30 people actively going around the cycle. And if I look at my tracker, just currently, from August and September now, late August, September, I easily have 30 people going around the cycle. And surprise, surprise, you see the highlights of people that are joining. If you aren't doing enough, you will feel emotional about, you feel like you're doing more than you actually are. You will start to get despondent and feel like you're not progressing fast enough. So you've got to have enough activity in the pipeline so you have your business in motion. So you've got to have at least 20 people actively looking at the business at any given time. 20 part-time, 30 full-time. Now, if people are saying thank you, but not now, you need to have your system set up so you've got your follow-up system in place. And so one thing to just bear in mind, a no is not a no. It's a no for, it's a not now. And we have another phrase where we say the fortune is in the follow-up. I think this is another thing that just got drilled into my head, drilled. And I regularly recruit people I've spoken to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Do you know, last year I recruited someone I spoke to 10 years before. That's how organized my follow-up system is. I'm not some computer wizzo. I have to tell you the truth. I use a paper system. My profiles are handwritten, and they use a binder. You know, because when I first joined the business, there weren't any electronic systems. If you're joining the business today, you may use those electronic systems. They're a lot faster. It's about being organized. So if a no is a no, a no is not a no, it's a not now. And I recruited someone just yesterday who I spoke to in 2014 because she said it's just a not now. I said, listen, would it be all right if I kept in touch with you from time to time to see what's going on with you, and I can share with you what's going on with us? And she said yes. And so in my call forward diary, once a year, I just drop her a message or give her a quick call. And this time in August, when I dropped her a text message, she said, yes, I want to come back and have a look. And when she came back and have a look, she re-enters my activity tracker as a person who is actively going around the cycle. So don't get discouraged with the no's. The no's are just not nows. So if we look at then taking people around the cycle and looking at the tools that you have, Jane's going to take you through the one-to-one. I'm going to just give you some top tips on how to make the most of sending someone a video. Because if you are working full-time, very, very full-time, and you're speaking to 20 or 30 people a week, you're not going to have the actual time to do 20 or 30 one-to-ones. There aren't enough hours in the day. So it's important to use your time wisely and to learn how to use all the tools that we have available. So when you're sending someone a video, I do say, listen, it is just an overview. It's not going to answer all of your questions. In fact, but after you've watched it, you'll probably have 100 questions, so we will need to speak again. So I'll just confirm with them what they're going to see in the video. You're going to have an overview of the company, a little bit about what we do and what's on offer for you. Do watch it a couple times. When you watch it, write down everything you like, write down any questions you have, and hey, when is a good time for us to have a follow-up chat? Could you chat Monday or Wednesday? Could you chat Tuesday or Thursday? Do you want to chat tonight or tomorrow? Whatever you agree, number one, you have to agree the follow-up time, because as humans, if we don't have a deadline, things don't get done. We know that just by looking at our kids and when do they do their homework or their projects is when the due date is looming. So there's no deadline, things don't get achieved. So agree with them when is a good time, when will they be able to make time to have a look at it, and when can you follow up with them to answer any questions that they have. And whatever you decide, if you're going to decide to call them, within a 2-hour window, so between 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, or at a specific time, whatever you decide, call them when you say you're going to call them. In today's world, more and more people experience that actually other people just don't do what they say they're going to do. And one of the key skills in becoming successful is doing what you say you're going to do long after you say you're going to do it. People will take you seriously. They will be impressed that you're a person of your word and that you follow through in your commitment. So agree when you're going to follow up and then follow up. And when you follow them up, I just ask a couple of questions. I say, hey, Jane, have you watched it? Great. What did you like best? That's it. What did you like best? What else did you like? What else did you like? Do you have any questions for me? I'll answer the questions briefly, and then I'll say, well, it sounds like the next step is to get some more information in your hands, which is our business presentation. So you move them along around the cycle to the next step. I've used the video effectively, and I've also do one-to-ones effectively. I use both tools. It's about how you use the tool that will give you the best results. So please watch your ratios, watch your tracker. If you're sending the video, are people actually watching it, or are they just saying, yes, send it to me as a way to get you off the phone quickly? If they're not watching it, if you can't get hold of them again, it means go back and review what you were saying in that first contact. How effective is your profiling? Because you need to make them curious that when you send them the link, they're actually going to watch it and have that follow-up call with you and move on to the business presentation.